So yeah, now we got to go to the next position group. All righty. Looks like we're going wide receiver here. Let me make sure I type this over here ahead of time. You know what I mean? Before him, because you got to let the people know, like, hey, if we're gonna be doing this, like, we got to talk wide receivers. You know,
Definitely.
So, and I know you like your wide receivers, right?
Sure. And this one's easy for me too. We have a really young receiving core that was really solid last year, but I think they're only going to get better. Juju's 24, and by some people's accounts, they may have said Juju had a down year, even though before the season we came in, we were like, honestly, if he gets over 900 receptions, gets like 800 or 900 yards based off the other talent we have around him and based off James Conner, who we thought was going to have more impact coming into last season. Do you remember this?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Conversations we were talking about. So Juju surpassed those numbers. I mean, he had almost 100 receptions. He had, I think, close to 900 yards, then like 8 or 9 touchdowns. I think that can get better.
I do. I think it can as well. I also think that because of how last year played out, that Ben is going to come into the season not trying to, all right, let me make Deontay my main guy. No, I think he's going to come in with the mindset that Juju has always been this safety blanket for him. He's always come through in the clutch for me. So I think we're going to see more of a focus on him initially, instead of it being, all right, can Deontay be this consistent guy? I think Deontay is going to more so have to earn that back because of how last year played, especially down the stretch. But I think because of how Juju has played and him coming back, especially on a 1 year, I just think that Ben is going to make sure that he is a more featured receiver in this thing.
And Juju said in his interview, Ben called him up. Did you hear that?
I did not hear that, no.
He said, Ben called me up before, or he told me, texted me or something like that. He said, call me up before you make a decision.
Wow. Give him that last little...
He said,
come on, baby.
He's like, call me up after you meet with other teams. Whatever it was. Before you make your decision, make sure you call me up.
Yeah, that's dope.
So, yeah, that goes to what you're saying, though, a little bit. It's like,
absolutely,
listen,
man.
I'll take care of you. This is going to be his contract here, too.
It's going to be important that both of those guys play well, and both of those guys know that they're attached to each other. Juju playing well is going to make Ben look good. Ben playing well is going to make Juju look good. And both of those guys know that, hey, we have to reward each other's trust. Those two guys throughout everything, AB, post AB, right? Those two have been the consistent factors. Even though we've seen other guys with more star power in terms of Deontay and in terms of Chase Claypool, none of them have been anywhere near as consistent as Juju in terms of all elements of the game. Not just catching the ball, not just run after, not just blocking, not just big play, not just having fun. So with Juju, I mean, because you think about it. I mean, come on now. We talked about it with some games where we're like, bro, this dude isn't making a catch, but he's the main one pointing at people, celebrating, doing all this other stuff. It's like with Juju, he's well rounded. That's all I'm saying. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You know, you've seen it.
I've seen some figure pointing.
You all right. So he is the most consistent right now.
Okay.
And I just think that Ben is going to reward him with those targets early. And we know Juju. Juju is not going to, waste those targets.
Now, this might be just a whole nother topic, but it's in my head right now. How does Juju get better? Because one of his big knocks that we talk about is just separation, like on linebackers and stuff. Like, how do you get better separation?
Well,
that's something he just works in the offseason or what?
Listen, man.
That'd probably be the main thing, right?
Listen. Let me coach you up here. All right, how do you get faster? How do you get better? It starts in the weight room, ladies and gentlemen, with a lot of weights. Now I'm playing, but shout out to Bat300_. He threw the little super comment weight emoji up. I had to give him a shout out real quick. But in terms of how Juju can get faster, honestly, at this level, increasing speed when you're you just are who you are. Yeah. The biggest thing that you can do if you're Juju, and I don't recommend it because I personally think he's fine from a speed standpoint, you can drop some weight. That might help just being a little bit quicker in and out of your breaks. But in terms of his top end speed, it's very rare that guys just in year 4, year 5 take this big jump. I mean, unless they're on some type of enhancement. That's all I'm saying. Like, without any type of enhancements, they typically don't take those type of jumps. So with Juju, I don't think, though, like I said, I don't think his speed is an issue. I think he understands how to run routes, number one. He's physical at the point of contact. Excuse me, at the catch point. He's very physical there. And he has enough speed in terms of game speed. I don't care what he taunt. When you watch him, you don't get 90+ yard touchdowns if you're not fast. He's fast enough when it comes to game speed. And that's just who he is. But I don't think he needs to become over enamored with being a blazer, because he's never going to be that.
It's the quicker cuts then we need.
Yeah. You could be quicker in and out of your breaks, but the way that the offense is set up, it really doesn't ask him to do that. For him, his matchups are against who? linebackers and safeties or third corners because they move him inside to that slot. So it protects him in the sense of he's always going to have favorable matchups. Now, if a team like
that's what I mean though, because some of these linebackers were kind of fine with him in terms of keeping pace.
But still, the catch point element was where he excelled. You think about Tennessee, their linebackers were running with him in their little cover 2 concept, but he was still able to consistently make the over the top catch. Remember, I would point out with the bin throws, I was like, man, if this is any other quarterback and receiver, I'm saying don't throw that because where the safety is sitting in his linebacker is not enough separation there. But seeing how frequently Juju and Ben can make those type of throwing catches where the defender is literally in Juju's chest, but the ball is placed where only Juju can get it, and Juju is consistent enough with making those type of catches, I'm like, yeah, they can do that. And that's why I think for Juju in this offense with 7, it's the perfect fit for him.
Okay. So we're just thinking his production goes up as the offensive production goes up then. Mm-hmm. Us bringing in Harris, us bringing in Pat.
And him just being more of a focal point now in the offense.
Okay.
Instead of them using him more so as everything else has failed, now go to Juju. I think it's going to be more so Juju. We're going to scheme this for you right here. We're going to make sure that you're the target. You're either target 1 or target 2 or option 1, option 2 versus, like I said, how last year he was more so just all right, I'm looking at Deontay. I'm looking at Claypool. All right, I don't see nothing to Ebron. All right, now let's get it to Juju. I just think that it's going to be different from that standpoint.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. You add that to how is Deontay going to get worse? How is Claypool going to get worse?
Yeah.
Or James Washington? I don't see how that's really possible.
The big thing with Deontay, and this is what we saw last year pop up, just mentally, if he has a drop, is it going to become 1 drop becomes 3 drops becomes 7 drops? Or is it going to be, all right, bad play, shake it off, go to the next play? If he has that mentality where he just, all right, if a bad play happens, he goes on to the next play, I think he'll be fine. But if we see what happened, like you said, in the Washington game and then the Bills game where mentally he went into the tank, that's where we'll have problems. Or even the opener. Think about versus the Giants. The punt returns, right? Remember, he fumbled the first one, misjudged the second one, and then from there, he was just like super nervous to the point where they pulled him out. It was like, yo, we can't have him back here. So we see already where he does struggle with his confidence after a bad play. If that's going to continue, then I think he will be limited. But if that doesn't continue, then I think he'll be fine. I think he'll continue to be in the right direction.
Yeah, he's too impactful. He's too important for the offense because we remember what happened when we took him out of that Buffalo game.
Absolutely.
Offense was different. Then he came back. All of a sudden, he ripped off like 5 or 6 catches in that second half when we started moving the ball a little bit and coming back. So we know his talent. I just don't see him getting worse. I only see him getting better, and same with Claypool. Yeah. It was just unfortunate what happened with Claypool second half of the season. Hopefully he could just pick up where he left off in the first half and being like we were calling him the best or second best rookie receiver.
But him and Justin Jefferson, that's who we were talking about. Like we said that, man, Claypool had more touchdowns, but we said Jefferson just was, more frequent in terms of the yardage, the catches, and things like that. But that was a legitimate conversation for a while. And we don't know if it was rookie wall. We don't know if it was mentality. We don't know if it was play calling. We don't know what it was, but we definitely saw a distinct shift in his targets and his overall participation in the games. I mean, he was playing less than 50% of the snaps at times.
Yeah, some of those games, his snaps went down. But then some of the other games where it was kind of equal, you're right, just disappeared. He wasn't getting the ball. We don't know
wasn't even getting targeted. That was the crazy part. And I would even tell you, I'm watching the tape and I'm like, bro, he's only out here for like decoy routes. And then when it's like legit pass routes, he's not even on the field. Like, I don't get what was going on with that. Like I said, I don't know the behind the scenes on that element of it, but it definitely shows. So hopefully that's not the case this year.
Yeah, because we saw what happened in that Colts game, man. Whenever we were coming back, we got it to Claypool a couple times.
He's dynamic,
threw
man.
that deep ball to Deontay. It was like
it's an added element, man.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So I don't see how it's getting worse. It's only going to get better, in my opinion, too.
Absolutely.
I mean, Juju's what? He's the oldest guy? Is he?
Yeah, he's what, 20, is he 24?
Deontay might be older than him. Is it 24, 25?
Yeah, tops.
Either way, and they're already studs, so they're just going to get better.
And then let's see what the chat said, man, in terms of how they view the receiver class. All right, Lay-K47. I always keep saying I love your name because I love your name. It's dope. But wide receivers class is elite. I like that. Okay. That was a comp. All right. LeVar Dawson says we're Gucci at wide receiver. Just hope we can keep them. Do bring up a good point right there because we know in a year or two now, not only Juju he's back up, but I think James Washington will be up and Deontay has 2 more.
Yeah,
Deontay has 2
he's got
more.
another year.
Yeah. So, you're absolutely right, man. All right. Ooh, McDave Clenard says top 3 wide receivers group in the NFL.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, see, I would have to look because I'm trying to think.
Bengals got to be in the mix.
Bengals definitely in the mix. Cowboys on the mix.
Cowboys, yeah.
I mean, you got to make a case for Minnesota as well.
Sure. They just don't have that third receiver.
Right.
But I mean, two really top receivers right there.
That's my only thing. I was like, just to say,
Buffalo, your boys, Buffalo might be in the mix because they go 4 deep now.
Yeah, Diggs, Beasley, Gabriel. They just,
Sanders.
And Sanders because obviously John Brown just left, but either one of those guys you put in there, high level productive. That's my only thing. I do feel
Tampa
like, Tampa, bro. That's my thing. I'm just like, we say top 3 off. I'm like, we can't just throw out top 3 like that, bro. Like, it's some legit receivers.
We're top 10, definitely.
Definitely top 10, yes. But top 3, that's that's why I was like, wait, before we go there. At
least we broke it down a little bit.
Yeah. We're in there though. But I just feel like the difference between us and those other groups that we're naming just off the top of our head, they have the more elongated productivity. They've done it for multiple years, where we have the foundation of that. We can see the groundwork, very similar to where you saw young Emmanuel Sanders, young Mike Wallace, young Antonio Brown. You can see the framework of it. And now we're going to see, can it really blossom into that while keeping these guys together with the quarterback? So that's going to be the part where we need to have it happen sooner rather than later. But you can definitely see the framework of them being mentioned with those guys we were just talking about briefly.
Yeah, because right off the bat, whenever you mentioned Cowboys, I'm like, yeah, we're better than Cowboys. But, I mean, Cooper's had a really solid NFL career. Gallup's had a couple 1,000-yard seasons. CD Lamb as a rookie receiver, he's up there with anyone too. So you're right. It's hard to just completely say we're better than even some of the teams that we're in competition with in that top 5 spot.
Yeah.
I like our upside though. I think we could surpass a lot of these teams.
No, absolutely.
Like, we could definitely be in the top 3.
This could be the year for that. We just need them all to live up to how good they truly are, because we feel like they all can be really good. They just have to do it. If they do it, we'll be good. But let's see, what else are people saying? All right. Oh, Phoenix says the wide receiver corps is second to none. All right. John Doe. Oh, I forgot about Ray. We have just enough at wide receiver. Keep Ray. Gotta keep Ray. We got Ray. He resigned.
I guess he's in the mix. But then we just picked up all these undrafted free agents.
Yeah. But think about what Ray, right? The thing I enjoy about him, not only do you get the special teams value, but you also get where they use him in the backfield some. They use him with some of this jet sweep stuff. I think with Matt Canada, we talked about just how he likes those type of players. Yeah, I could see him definitely having some stuff going on, man.
If they could throw him out there and literally just send him on a vertical too, I'm not opposed to that either.
Yeah, absolutely, man.